Jam Yearbook. I'm Matt.
And I'm Jim. We're here to take you on a journey through the years as we explore the music in our lifetime and the impact it's had on us and the world we've lived in.
Welcome to version.
Hey, we're not doing that this time.
Oh, yeah. Old habits. Well, it's that time again. We need to do some housekeeping. Welcome to the cleanup.
Yeah, it's getting a little messy around here. This playlist is becoming a beast. And like all playlists, it's time for some songs to go. Playlists should be alive and not set in stone. We kicked around some ideas for this cleanup and we're going to add some new ones, but we felt like it was time to kick some to the curb.
The twist? Jim nominated 5 of my songs to get rid of, and I chose 10 of his.
Wait a minute. No, you're not taking 10 there, buddy.
Oh, come on.
But I may admit, I've probably been compulsive at times, adding a song or 3 that I'd change if I could. And something tells me we may need some negotiations.
Oh, yeah. I've had my share of impulse buys as well. It's just like all playlists. Some songs, they lose their shine over time or maybe feel out of place as soon as you hear them. And besides, losing 5 songs, that's a drop in the bucket.
We thought it would be fun to make it interactive and have the listeners choose which songs we would eliminate. So we put 10 out on our Facebook group page, and the top 5 got the hook. As we were preparing this show and discussing what we were going to do, we actually did this poll before we put version 2022 up live. And Matt, one of your songs only made it a week. It will go on for 2022 and it will come off the following week.
We can take it off as soon as we're done.
People probably didn't even hear one of your songs.
That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Having the poll out before we recorded the show, it certainly made planning this version different and hopefully a little different listening experience because we can talk about the aftermath a little, you know, you can go in depth right now instead of just a post on the Facebook page.
Yeah. But there's one more twist to this version. There's another side to the house cleaning that we didn't tell you about.
We asked ourselves, is it fair that we should be the only ones to have to say goodbye to songs? No matter how weak they may be, no matter how little consideration was put into some of them. Should the listeners' poll be spared of this fate?
No. I have to admit that some of the audience choices haven't been the greatest either. That's probably my fault because I make the poll each week and I should think twice about what songs I'm putting up there. And I often go to the charts and throw up some popular, more well-known songs because I think people are going to be more apt to interact with us because they're pop songs. And that's really why they're there for people to listen to. But that might not always be the best idea.
Yeah. You know, there have been some questionable choices and I wondered why you put those up, but I'm not going to be too harsh. I don't expect you to comb through a year's worth of material for the poll. And, you know, fatigue be damned. We can't neglect the hits. As we say at the beginning of the show, you know, these are the songs that had the biggest impact at the time. And we understand sometimes people don't have time to go and look through and nominate songs on their own. That's fine. This should be work. This is supposed to be fun.
It is supposed to be fun. And we have had songs added by the audience that have been fantastic. And some songs I have never really heard before that got enough votes to get onto the list. And I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah. But don't be alarmed. We're only going to remove 1 song apiece from the poll. We'll try to give you a good reason. And if you want to send us hate mail after the show, well, we probably deserve
it. This just changes things up a little bit. We can't keep beating the same themes to death. And I think this is going to be a little more fun. The poll's been closed for a while now. And though people have been able to see the results, we're going to go through all the nominations and which ones we pulled from the playlist. So it's time for the sting. Matt, would you like to go first? I
Sure.
think I'm a big boy too. I can handle this. What 5 songs of mine did you want to see erased from the playlist?
Okay. I don't think I went to your soul with these songs, but okay. So I chose Life in Technicolor by Coldplay.
Okay.
Swerve City by the Deftones. John Mayer's New Light. Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA and 46 Days from Fish.
Okay. Your choices sound like they belong in the haters club. To be fair enough, I can see how they struggle to kind of fit in. I picked the Coldplay song because I liked the video. It doesn't mean that it should be on the playlist. The John Mayer tune, that was a last minute grab when I was searching through that year. The Fish song was fun to play in a band I was in, but in retrospect, I've never gone back to actually listen to it. And the Deftones, all right, hands up. I've never owned anything by them. I've probably listened to them on a playlist here or there, but I've never been a huge fan. And I think I was just trying to make a point about the sound and the influence on the future of nu metal. But I do think the Miley Cyrus song is great. I don't care if she annoys people. She annoys me. But Party in the USA is a great pop song, and I'll always stand by that statement.
Yeah, only 3 of those I think are in the haters club. Coldplay, 100%. I love that video. And
Mhm.
it kind of made me think I was okay with the song too, until I just listened to the song on its own. Like, no, because that video is really creative with the Punch and Judy puppets, and
Mhm.
all that stuff's kind of endearing. Same with New Light. In the end, it's John Mayer. I have a love-hate thing with him. I absolutely
Mhm.
think he's incredible. He's talented. He can totally shred on the guitar, but I kind of put him in with Eric Clapton, undoubtedly extremely talented, but he has songs like this with no life. It almost sounds like he's holding back and he knows he could completely blow us away every time he put out a song, but we're not worth it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a John Mayer with me. Miley Cyrus is a double-edged sword. Yes, it's annoying, but I respect that you like having songs like that in your life. But the vocals are so upfront. It just, again, it feels kind of like, I think I said this about Jingle Bell Rock in our Christmas episode. It feels like I'm being yelled at for 4 minutes. Yeah, those are definitely in the haters club. The others, Deftones, same with you. I've never really been able to connect with them. I do have a perceived connection with nu metal, and that could be where it's coming from with me. I know they are kind of more of a precursor to that.
Mhm.
So sorry. Yeah, I am a little bit biased against them. Maybe I'll get past it one day. But Fish fans, sorry. I'll choose my words carefully because they're a Vermont band, and I think it's awesome they got so huge and so many people enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I'll try not to use 100 words when fewer will suffice, but I find the majority of their music forgettable. And I've added a Trey song on the playlist and I love it and I hope it can stay. It's just a jam band thing for me. And I also wonder if there are some Dead fans out there that are maybe pushing for that one to get off the list.
I think so. When I put the list up, I think right away Coldplay and Fish got the first 2 votes right out of the bat. And one of my good friends who's a Dead fan was the first to vote on the Fish song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so well, that's his feeling. That's fine, and that's why we put
Oh,
that
yeah.
poll there. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right. So now it's your turn. Let's hear it. What are the songs of mine that are up for termination?
Well, the first one isn't even on the playlist yet, and that's Wet Legs Chase Lounge.
Did you gag while you were saying that?
Here's the thing with our pre-recorded shows, this song had the chance to get voted off the list before it even got added. So I just think that's hilarious. And I think there's a shared sentiment between myself and some of the audience because I noticed some of the votes that were there. The second is Harry Nilsson, Me and My Arrow. Look, I like Harry Nilsson a lot. I really don't have anything to say bad about him, but I can think of 3 to 4 of his songs that belong on the playlist before this one. It's good, but I don't think it's as brilliant as his other work. And I would rather people go out and listen to that entire album and get the story and follow the concept behind it, not just one song, because there's a
Yeah.
huge children's story to be heard.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yep. The next is Sparks, Rhythm Thief. I have a difficult time trying to wrap my head around Sparks. I do think they're really cool, but I have to be in the right mood to listen to them. And I think that this is probably the wrong choice of song again. But I'm really glad you brought them to the show and you helped increase awareness about them. I think they're kind of like the Anvil of pop music, just on that edge, but never crossing that line to superstardom.
Okay.
Then you've got Collective Soul. Compliment. Really? Collective Soul, Matt?
Are you going to give it a compliment there?
If you want to give me shit about Coldplay, that's all I'm going to say about Collective Soul.
Yeah.
And then there's this Paper Tongues Trinity song. This, I think, is just you trying to be impulsive and cool, Matt, by adding something that no one knows. Here it is, people, proof for you. I share a lot of songs that have a wide audience most of the time, but a good song is a good song. And I think sometimes, Matt, you pretend like all the shit out in the open sucks while the good stuff is always hiding underneath a rug somewhere.
I'll half agree with you there because at least regionally here, I heard Paper Tongues on the radio.
Yeah, I never heard the song before.
So in my world, it's out there.
Is it on American Spotify?
Oh, you know what? I usually don't look for that, because I think the only one I noticed that we had a hard time with, well, we talked about Neil Young, but it was the Greg Camp song was
Mhm.
just ridiculously hard to find
Yeah.
anywhere.
I couldn't find Paper Tongues on Spotify. I do think it was there, but I'll talk about that as we get further down the line.
Yep. Actually, if you go to like their Wikipedia page, that's almost non-existent too.
They do have a Vivo music video up for this
A
song.
couple of them.
Yep.
Yeah, for this one,
Yep.
and I think Going to California was, I think, their first hit off that album.
Yep.
But anyway, but I'm 100% okay with your choices. Wet Leg, I knew without a doubt after your reaction when I put it on.
On a
DOA.
chase lounge, on a chase
DOA.
lounge.
And to be honest, you're probably saving everyone from having to skip it, right? Take that phone out of the pocket, turn it on, and hit that skip button. This will be the song I look back on and wonder why I was liking it in the first place. I listened to most of their album that week, and I was just getting into the quirkiness of the whole thing. And I chose a song I thought people would at least listen and go, "Oh yeah, that song next." Harry Nilsson, that one does sting a little bit, but I've added 2 Nilsson songs to the playlist,
Yep.
and I'd much rather keep Gotta Get Up because
Yeah.
I really like that song. And really, if in 1971, I think is where I added Arrow, and he had 2 albums out in 71, and Gotta Get Up was on one of those other albums. And
Yep.
had I seen that song first instead of Me and My Arrow, I would have stopped looking at Harry Nilsson altogether,
Okay. Yep.
because that's what I did when I heard Me and My Arrow. But in general, I chose the wrong Nilsson song to add in 71. So I'm sorry to see Me and My Arrow get deleted because I still like it, but I have it on another playlist to enjoy.
There you go.
And Sparks, while I really enjoy them, they got added in version 2002, and that was not the right album to add a Sparks song from. I had just come up watching their documentary multiple times, and I was so excited about the band. It's like I had, JoJo the Circus Clown. I just had to talk about it.
Oh, they've got an album in 2002. Yeah.
and we're doing 2002, and
Yeah.
I just seen the documentaries. And when I listened to the playlist, though, this song came on once, and it's probably because the song on either end of it just didn't fit. Right. It changed the whole flow of it. So that's another one I'll have to enjoy on my own. Collective Soul. Yeah, that's okay. Even if the listeners don't vote it out, we could take that one off. It's just no sweat off my back. Paper Tongues. This was my last minute ad completely in 2010. I never felt great about it. I remember when I added it, I said I had no real attachment to it. I should have paid attention to that feeling. Instead, I settled and we all paid the price. But if I remember 2010, we were both struggling to find something that we were attached to add to the playlist or even really talk about. So yeah, Paper Tongues, if that one gets the axe, I'm not going to shed any tears.
Yeah, like we said before, I think that one was regionally popular. I didn't know the song. I still think I listened to it on Spotify here and it just disappeared because I always try to go and listen to your songs. And I've come to you in the past and said, Matt, this song isn't on Spotify. I can't add it to the playlist. So we'll go take a look through and see if it's there now. But as I said, if anybody wants to check it out and they don't have it on their playlist, they can still see it on YouTube.
Yeah, if you're really that curious. Speaking of curious, now on to the listeners' choices.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I may come off as heartless at times. It's because you can't see my face. You can't see the big grin that I have when I make some of my snide comments. It's because I enjoy sarcasm. I turn it up to 11. But really, I'm an old softie. So this is a little bit stressful. And, maybe for Jim too, we're not trying to piss anybody off, right? Don't take it personal. But if we lose 5, at least y'all can lose 2. So I look at it that way. And just like many of you may struggle with songs that I put on, there are some that I have issues with. Part of me wants to leave everything on because it's like I like the dynamics of having different genres. And I do enjoy having myself challenged to listen to things that I don't necessarily like. But I see a Coldplay song on there. Clip, perhaps a 15-minute Grateful Dead epic, perhaps even Sia, but nope. Camila Cabello, she's got to go. She's got to go. Honorable mention to Sia, because those two are very similar to me. But I listened to Camila Cabello and I tapped out about 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I just couldn't.
That song's Havana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your choice from the audience.
Yeah.
That's gone. So we're going to tell the audience right now that song's coming off. And who knows? I don't really think people are very attached to it. They might like it, but it's definitely not a quintessential pop song of the era.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So my audience picked to remove, believe it or not, I was very, very close to taking out Madonna's Like a Virgin.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that song has more popularity because of the epic MTV performance, the music video, her crawling around. And that's really what put that song in people's heads back in the day.
Okay.
But I don't think it's her best song. And I think when we get to other years, we could find others in her catalog, Express Yourself, Vogue, Like a Prayer, and probably a few others we could put on this list. But it's safe for now. I didn't take it off. So it's there. Don't worry. Instead, I'm pulling one of those I never need to hear this song again tunes. So sorry, not sorry, Ed Sheeran. You're a talented guy, but don't sing. Sing has to go. I enjoy watching him do the looping stuff. If you ever watch him live on stage when he's doing a concert, it's a joy to watch him perform that way. But when he goes into the studio and how he translates it into an absolute pop song on record, I can just tell he's only really trying to sell records and not be as authentic with the music as when you're going to see him play them and perform them. Make a record of using the loops. I'd love for that to come out. I'd love to see that
Yeah,
happen.
why not? And I've never listened to any of his albums. I've heard plenty of his songs, but something tells me I would probably find more gold in some of the, the B-sides,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I find that generally with records anyways. But I think if you were to listen to a song of his that's not intentionally crafted to be a hit,
Yep.
you're going to get more of the original Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
that's more true to himself.
You've talked about this recently about artists who have too much shine, too much polish on their songs. And
Mm,
I'd love to hear him just a little more raw and not like Pharrell got hold of him and produced it. And that's really
yeah.
that's who he's worked with. I think Pharrell
Oh,
worked on this song, Sing, with him. So
okay.
that's out of here.
Awesome. So it feels like this should have some kind of buildup of suspension, but everyone listening is probably thinking, yeah, just whatever, just get rid of them all. Why not just 5? But we should probably let everybody know what the results are from the group page on Facebook. Of the 10 nominations, here are the 5 songs that are no longer welcome on the Jam Yearbook playlist.
The first song, yep, you're exactly right. Fish, 46 Days, get out of here. It got 17% of the vote, tied for second most. And I noticed that some people that voted for that song to go probably don't even listen to Fish. They're Vermonters who just probably are annoyed by them in one way or the other. And just, there are a lot of people that I know from Vermont who never connected with Fish. And I think it was those
Yeah.
folks who were like, get out of here. And my one deadhead friend, who was the very first person to vote, that was like, yeah, get that. That's gone. So there we go. Next.
All right. The next one to go is Harry Nilsson and Me and My Arrow with 13% of the vote.
Yep.
Again,
oh,
not-
go
yeah,
ahead.
not, yeah, again, I have this in my own collection elsewhere that I can enjoy it. So,
And a song that I'm never going to need to add to a playlist again, but I put it on this. That's Coldplay, Life in Technicolor 2. And that is tied also for the first spot for 17% with Fish. So it's definitely the haters club for both of them.
Haters
That's-
Club for Men.
That song's gone.
Yeah. What else is gone? Wet Leg, Shays Long with 13% of the vote. DOA.
I love the fact that the audience voted this song without even
Yeah.
voting it onto the
I-
list. They just
kind of do too.
They found out that got put on there. They're like, no, get that the
Yep.
fuck out of there.
Yeah.
That's great.
Get the fuck out.
See you later.
All right,
And-
Jim, what is number 5 song?
Well, I'll have to suck it up and say goodbye to Miley. And we're gonna lose Party in the USA. And that's fine. I understand. I think that song probably gets under people's skin. And it could be one of those songs that I maybe discovered late and thought, "Ooh, this is a great pop song," but other people had listened to and had shoved in their face a bazillion times. So get rid of it. It's gone.
Yep. And John Mayer was pretty close.
Oh, but he's still there.
He's still there. He's still there. It's not a horrible song.
No, and you're right. It is
No.
kind of a lazy tune. I tried
Yeah.
to say it sounded like a 1970s AM radio song, but
Yep.
go back and listen to that show and you can decide for yourself. I think that was 2018 when we talked
Yeah.
about that. But
Yep.
so there we go.
There we go. So we have what, 7 songs that have now been taken off of the Jam Yearbook playlist.
Yes.
But fear not, we're adding 10 more today, right now.
We certainly are, because as a cleanup show goes, we also go back and we take a look at what we might have missed. So we need to do that and get this going.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I get to go first because you went first the last time. And I am going to start with Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark from 1984. I made a serious mistake by putting Born in the USA on the audience poll and not this one. I think this is the more enjoyable, more popular song today. And it's not to knock Born in the USA as a great song in its own rights, but Dancing in the Dark has been more of a timeless classic, in my opinion. You can still put that on, hop on the dance floor. It's once again, the boss perfectly pens lyrics about lost intimacy and holding together a relationship with no communication, of the unhappiness that's being experienced. And somehow he turns it into a rock song that you can dance to. He brings Courtney Cox up on stage in the video and they dance together, but it's got all these really deep themes behind it. And this was a great song during that time to go back and listen to. We talked about it. We had discussed this song in our chat, but then I think I just completely spaced it when I created the poll. So that has to go up there. Dancing in the Dark, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I actually thought when we were talking about that, this would have been the song you added to the poll, but that's a tough choice.
It is.
Right. And 1984, I wanted nothing to do with this song. 2022, me, I can't get enough of it. I didn't get into deep lyrics, back when I was a teenager as much as now.
Yep.
And I've said it a few times, but I may never have reached this point with Springsteen in general if we didn't do this show. So I put this song on my personal marathon playlist. I really, really love this song now.
Good, good. All right, that's my number one. What is your number one?
So my number one, I'm going to go with Trash Can from Delta Spirit. This might be the reason I put One Is One on my list of 5 for 2022. When I heard that one, I went back to the Ode to Sunshine album and noticed the change in sound.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to that new record, I was reminded of Trash Can. I had that oh shit moment where I'm like, I bet I missed Delta Spirit because I really love this song, Trash Can. This piano riff, it just gets stuck in my head. And of course, I had missed it.
Yeah.
But luckily, we got these cleanups where I can add it. So Trash Can, Delta Spirit.
Yeah, I'm glad you added it too. This is another one of those songs that I'm like, oh, here's Matt being cool and putting a song that people might not have heard before on here. But go check this song out. That piano riff is really cool. It's great. And I'm really thankful that you do come up with some of these songs, because when we get to my number two, it's definitely something I think everybody has heard before.
Well, speaking of what is your number two?
My number two is Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, Right About Now. It Takes Two from 1988. This song was number 118 on Rolling Stone's top 500 songs of all time. It has been considered in the past one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time. It has that 1-2 punch between this song and Joy and Pain that just got a lot of repeated play from me. And I recently came across a 30th anniversary red vinyl of this, remastered for vinyl edition, and I had to pick it up. It is, without a doubt, one of my top 5 hip hop songs of the 80s. And I talk about how I used to like dancing and Bobby Brown and all of that. And this was one of those songs that when you were into that, you would go out on the dance floor and you could mouth all the words to it. And yeah. In fact, recently, Rob Bass was on that 90s tour that went around, and I think they played at the Champlain Valley Fairgrounds.
Oh, cool.
And one of my friends sent me the video of them doing this song. He was like, Jim, look, it's because that's how much some people know that I really like this. So yeah.
Yep. Well, I still don't know how you didn't add this the first time around. This is a Jim Jam if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
This is when hip hop sounded huge and happy and upbeat, especially when I think about all the rap that I've been listening to over the last 5 years, where it's a little bit more chilled out.
Yep.
And mellow, but this was really a lot of fun to hear this song again.
Yeah.
Good ad.
And I kind of miss this hip hop music that doesn't have to be edgy. It's not that I'm not a prude. I don't mind edgy hip hop. I don't mind the language and the swearing and stuff that goes on and the themes. But I do miss the fact that it seems like if you try to create a song like this now, it's not going to sell, because it can't just be about the good music. It has to actually have something controversial attached to it.
Yeah, or some kind of social commentary.
Yeah. So it's just fun. You're right. It's a Jim Jam. I like that phrase.
Yeah, it is.
All right. What's your number two?
All right. So moving on to my number two is Second Child, Restless Child from the Oh Hellos. Yeah, it's probably an unknown band. I haven't talked about them, but again, it's one of those ones where I was listening to something current by them and I'm like, crap, I bet I missed that song because I really love this song. Listeners, you may get tired of me bringing up this obscure stuff, but to me, it's obscure, but it's what I listen to. And I'm going on what I think of a band's popularity level, because I don't really talk to people about music like this except for Jim. I found them in my indie phase. So I assume most of those bands are obscure, but I really love the positive tone and Maggie's got a great voice.
Yep.
They have a really good NPR Tiny Desk concert. If you care to check those out, those are really good. It just speaks to everybody's inner child, how when you're young, you have this boundless energy and imagination, and you don't need anything more to be happy than to just move.
Yeah, it's a good song, and it's another one of those. What is this? When I went to look it up, but you're right. It does have a real positive tone to it, and for some of that other music that you've played to me from the indie phase, that's really kind of wispy and depressing. This does
Yeah.
not have that same feel. So I recommend people go check out Oh Hello. Yeah, good stuff.
Alrighty. So what's your number three?
My third song that I missed was during the year 1998. And I talked about how Space Hog was one of my favorite bands of the 90s. And the song is called Captain Freeman. I kind of lost track of them after this album. So I'm happy that you brought up to me that the two brothers in the band actually went on to create some more music. But I own this CD and this song got a lot of repeated play. Listen to it, go back, listen to it, go back. It's got a fun extended drum intro, great guitar riff, and playful lyrics, which were typical of them. And there's a breakdown in the middle of it that just has like that disco boogie thing going on.
Yeah.
It just takes the song to a really cool place. Get down, that's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. I mean, the album itself, the Chinese album, was actually written to be a soundtrack to a movie. But I don't know if that actually would have worked because it's, I don't know, I guess an undefined concept album. But this song on it is just good fun.
Yeah, this is a really cool, fun song. I didn't know this was going to be from a movie because the song definitely sounds like it belongs as like a theme song.
Yeah, it does.
It definitely has that in its vein. So I'm glad you're bringing that to the playlist because, hey, Space Hog's a good band.
Yeah, they are. All right, on to your number
shouldn't
three.
Be forgotten.
No, they shouldn't.
My number three will be Do the Devil by the Amazing Royal Crowns. There's not much. There's not much out from this band. This is probably another one that's going to be hard to find. But I found them when I was getting into Reverend Horton Heat and Low Straight Jackets. I think I saw them open up for Reverend one time. They just have that energy, that rockabilly, psychobilly, whatever you want to call it. It's throughout the song. The energy, it's high, it's relentless.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you dig music like this. And it does fit right within that, well of the Reverend and Lost Straight Jackets. So it's cool that you brought them to the show because it's nice to get something new that's not from just those bands. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So moving on to your number four.
All right. Number four, it's Story Time. The song is The Flaming Lips, Turn It On. It's from 1993. I was really into this album. My friends and I in Bennington, we sat around and listened to it quite a bit in our apartment. And I went to Lollapalooza 1994. The Verve were playing on the second stage. It was very early in their career, but I'd heard an EP of theirs, so I knew who they were. I went over to kind of check them out. In the middle of their set, one of those raging late afternoon thunderstorms came ripping through the area. There was lightning and everything had to stop. The Verve actually got shut behind a curtain and they kept playing and they had to get turned off by the sound people, which was cool. It was a good concert moment. Everyone ran for cover, but I was late finding a place to get out of the rain, so I got soaked through. I realized there was an opportunity though. The Flaming Lips were on next, and I was, like I said, really into this album. So I went straight to the front gate right at the stage and stood there and waited out the storm. Lightning, thunder, rain coming down on me. And like these storms in the Northeast, the sun came out and it was a brilliant hot summer day. 10 minutes later, the Flaming Lips came out, they took the stage and they put on a great set. And towards the end of the set, Wayne Coyne was given a dozen roses. He threw 11 of them out to the audience. And then with the last one, he said, no, I'm keeping this one for myself. I got one of the roses that he threw to the audience. And to this day, I don't know how I did it. I must have had somebody hold on to it for me during some moments, because I managed to keep it safe the rest of the night through the Smashing Pumpkins and the Beastie Boys, and I got home with it. I dried it and I hung it on my wall, and it stayed there until I moved out of Bennington. I really loved this album, and this song is a great introduction to it and to the Flaming Lips. It's just messy, fun rock and roll.
Wow. Way to make it hard for me to dislike a song. You wrapped it up in a story. I've struggled with the Flaming Lips. They're mostly their early stuff outside of a couple songs. I did enjoy this one because I haven't heard it in so long. And it's strange because if a band sounds this unique, I'm usually all over it. But 10 years later, when they come out with something like Yoshimi, I'm on board completely
Yeah.
with the Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
I think just over time, he was able to control his voice
Yep.
more.
Yep.
But dummy me, I don't know him. He could have been singing like that on purpose because it suited where they were.
This is where I sound like an idiot to music snobs, because I love the Flaming Lips and I loved Radiohead, both when they were starting out within their first couple of albums. But I think within their trajectory, they just got too smart and too polished, and I lost that edge that was there. And everything went melodic and
Yeah.
left being rock and roll. And I liked that rock and roll side of them more than I liked what came down the line.
Yes, with those two bands, especially in maturing, it sounds like more thought went into the music and less rock and roll attitude.
Yeah. But here's a spoiler. When we get to the 2010s, I may just bring the Flaming Lips and Miley Cyrus together on an album to the show.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Yeah, I
You would
will.
have to.
You better be ready for it. All right. What's your number
Thanks
4?
for the warning.
Yeah. Shots are fired.
Yeah. My number 4 is going to be Follow You to Virgie by Tyler Childers from 2014. This song isn't on any studio albums. It's on a live EP. The melody, it's memorable of a couple Rolling Stones songs, but the conviction he sings about laying his friend's grandmother to rest it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that sticks with you for a while. It can hit you in the heart. This is another song I got from my kids. It's not all rap with them, but I made sure to ask Owen this week. I'm like, what is that? What is that Virgie song that you listen to? And he was like, oh, Tyler Childers. So I had to look it up, and luckily, boom, it was a year we had covered, so I was able to sneak it in here on the cleanup.
Yeah. You had changed your mind, as Matt often does people. I picked this song, and then at the last minute he lets me know, no, I've changed it to something else. And so I was walking into work and I was listening to it and I was mesmerized by it. And good on your kids for being into this kind of music. That's fantastic. They've got great taste. It's a really good song. It kind of reminded me, I think, of the Faces Ooh La La. It had that feel to it, but without ripping it off, without having a copycat moment. It just, they're songs that have vibes a certain way.
Yeah.
So happy to have this on the playlist. I'll look forward to this every time it comes up.
Cool. All right. So what is your last song?
My last song, I'm going to go back to 1995. You added Lump by the Presidents of the United States of America. I need to add Peaches. I actually wanted to add this in 1995, but I thought I'd wait until we reached a cleanup. I think both of those songs deserve to be on this playlist. It's such a great song. It's once again, fun, playful rock. And I hear it on the radio over here once in a while. And I'm just kind of like, why am I hearing Peaches by Presidents of the United States here in Scotland? But it just goes to show it's one of those songs that when it connects to the right audience, it'll stand the test of time. It means that there are other people out there that are still loving it.
I struggled with which one to add in 1995, so I'm really happy you're putting it on the playlist now. Something that got really old in the 90s were alt bands, always having to interject humor into their songs.
Yep.
But the Presidents are the exception to that rule. I don't mind when it came from them because everything they did it was special. It was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Presidents, so this is one of those songs that I don't care if it stays around forever.
No, and I hope it does. It's a good song.
Yeah.
So that's my last song, my number 5. So Matt, what is your final song?
Oh, well, I decided that our playlist doesn't have enough Prince. If that's possible, of course. So I'm going to go to 1980 and Dirty Mind. I came really close to putting this in my 5 for version 1980 and in one of the other cleanups. I backed off because I don't know everybody's tolerance for Prince outside of Purple Rain in,
Mhm.
1999. And I had added his song Kiss before we did 1980.
Yep.
And and I knew coming up, I was going to have a lot of Prince coming on, but I can't deny how much I love this song. And I wanted Jim to have to look at that album cover. It's a little uncomfortable. But play this song loud on a big stereo and get the subwoofer pumping or some really good headphones. The beat is quite hypnotizing.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that you put a Prince song on. I'm actually trying to find the album cover right now, and for some reason,
Oh, you hadn't looked at it yet.
I had.
Well, you should
I
watch the
forgot.
video for this song then. He does the video in that outfit.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that album cover with me. I really appreciate that. There's nothing better than getting to catch Prince in a Speedo. I'm sure he was about to go for a swim or something.
Yeah, and it's the long jacket and the thigh-high boots. And watch the video for Dirty Mind, and you'll get to see him prance around in it.
Is he advertising the banana hammock?
I don't know, but just listen to the song. It's a really cool song.
It is a good song, actually. I have heard the song before, and it's not surprising that you put a Prince song on here. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point you realize there was another one. Prince is one of the greatest artists of all time, and I think within our generation, we're not really going back into the 60s and 50s. And I think if we dug back into those years and had songs we bring onto the show, we'd have a Beatles song every other week.
Oh, definitely.
Or
definitely.
something like that. So
it'd be the Beatles and the Doors and the Stones and the Who. Yeah.
We'd always go back to some of that classic stuff. And to me, Prince is the classic music from our generation. So it's a good choice. So that's it.
Yeah, we're all done.
Yeah, that is the cleanup done. We are sorry, audience, not sorry if you are unhappy with the choices of what we removed of yours. And hey, we're being cool about, what you picked off the list from us. Maybe you would have been crueler if we actually polled the audience and gave them the choice of the entire playlist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I think that would take more time to kind of put that together. So I think it was wise the way that we did it. And it was nice to see feelings are not too hurt between the two of us.
No,
neither one of us are really arguing about it, so that's fine. So Matt, now is the time where you get to tell us where we're going next. So where are we going after this?
We are going to go to the beautiful and lovely year of 1989.
That'll be great. That's the year you graduated high school.
It is.
Yep,
it is.
yep.
And if my recollection is correct, there's a lot of music I was listening to back then.
Oh, well, we would have been listening to pretty much everything out there during that time.
My God. Yeah, it's going to be one of those years where it's hard to get through it all.
Yep. I'm looking forward to going and digging in because I definitely had a lot of music in my life in 1989. So that'll be great.
Definitely.
So 1989, we're going back. What were we, 16, 17 years old in that time?
Yeah, 18.
Yep, 18. So fantastic.
Awesome.
Right. Matt, I wrapped up the last show, so it's your turn to wrap up this one.
So yeah, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed listening to the show as much as we enjoy making it. Jim, another great time chatting with you as always.
Yes.
And we will talk to you next time when we do version 1989.
See you later, everyone. Peace, love, and podcast.